A very good morning to all of you.
Morning, sir.
How are you? All of you are fine. Are you fine? Very good. Very good climate. Little bit to disturb your. In the last class, we have seen the agreement. We have seen the long agreement made between the British people and the Champaran peasants. British people and Champaran peasants. What was the agreement? The British people, the English people would give an estate or a large area of land. What kind of land? Arable land. It will be given to these peasants. How? On a lease agreement, only for the purpose of using. And a rent is finalized for the land. A rent is finalized. What is the rent? Not the money. They're told that 3/20ths total land area will be divided into 20 pieces, 20 fragments. And in those 20 fragments, 3 fragments should be cultivated indigo. You see, you know mathematics, Punya, isn't it? Mathematics, you know, isn't it? Ah, 1 meter is equal to how many centimeter?
100.
100 centimeter. Don't often, don't off. Unmute. 100 cm. 1 kilometer is equal to how many meter?
1000.
1,000 meter. I don't say wrong. Teach me. Okay. In this way, 1 acre, how many cents? 100 cents. 100 cents. Sometimes our plot may be of 10 cents. Parents might be telling this site is of 10-cent plots or 7.5-cent plots or 20 cents plots. That is 1 acre is 100. So it is 100 cents. It will be divided into 20. So is equal to 5 cents. One fragment is 5 cents. In this way, 3 fragments, 3, that is 15 cents. If it is 2 acre, 30 cents. 3 acre, 45 cents. So this is the agreement. So a land is given. Land is given. This much fragments. Separate. This is for whom? British people. So the peasant, Champaran peasant can cultivate here whatever he wants. No problem. But this much area should be cultivated by with indigo plants. This must be indigo. And what happens? The crop, everything should be full crop. Crop should be given to British people. Clear now? This he can cultivate. The thing is that indigo was in great demand It was an unavoidable thing in the society. So the whole proprietorship, commerce, whole proprietorship, whole entrepreneurship, whole custodian of Indigo will be British people. And these Indians have to go and get it from British people. So they can charge a large amount. Clear now? This is the agreement. That is what is called here. You see, the landlords compelled all tenants to plant 3/20 or 15% of their holdings with Indigo and surrender, give the entire Indigo as a rent. This is the rent. This was done by long-term contract. So father might have entered into the agreement, but it may be for 50 years. So son and grandson will be continuing it. They will not be able to break it. That's the trap behind this agreement. Presently, the landlords learned that Germany had developed synthetic indigo. You see, presently, the landlords learned that Germany had developed synthetic indigo. So, artificial indigo. This is natural one. But Germany developed a synthetic one. So what will happen? Germany will take the market. Clear now? This is business. Business. Germany will take market. And these people, British people, will not get a proper sale of indigo. Underline. Germany had developed synthetic indigo. This is a case to understand as a history. They thereupon or thereafter obtained agreements from the sharecroppers to pay them compensation for being released from the 15% agreement. That is another. This is the problem now. This is the problem. What is the problem? When the British people, when the British people understood that a, an artificial or synthetic indigo is produced by Germans, synthetic indigo made by Germans. So they realize that their natural indigo will have lesser market. So these British people met the sharecroppers and told that we are going to release you from the agreement. You see, what did they say? We are going to release you from the agreement, lease agreement. By hearing, naturally, all on a sudden, people will be happy, isn't it? You? Oh, we are free from the lease agreement. Clear now? So they're told, we are going to release you. And they asked to pay compensation for that 15% agreement. So they told a compensation should be made for that. The sharecropping arrangement was irksome to the peasants. So sharecropping arrangement was not happy. It was not a happy. It was not happy. It was an annoyance. It was a dislike. Was not happy to the peasants. And many signed Willingly, I told you. By hearing, it is very simple to understand. People are happy. Agreement is there. Yes. And you have to give me a compensation only. In this way, they would say, these British people, you see the technique they use. You see this. Attend here. The British people will call one sharecropper, peasant. Then he will ask, how are you? How the crops are going on? Very well. Okay, very good. Oh, I know you are not happy with this kind of agreement. I will make you free. Eh? Hereafter, we will stop this long-term agreement, isn't it? You will be free. You can cultivate the whole land. No need to keep 3/20th. You have to give me a small compensation. You have to give me a small compensation. Hearing these sweet words, what the peasant will think, oh, very good landlord. He will agree. So call him, you put a signature here. This is agreement is cancelled. You put a signature. The poor man will sign it. Clear now? The same way, I will bring you another situation. Very often I tell you about the story, that poem, Changambura's poem. Very often I tell Varakula, Changambura's Varakula, plantain tree. So that poor man, poor farmer, grow the plantain tree, and fruit is there. It was the time of Onam. Children were happy to have plantain from their own plantain tree. At that time, what happened? He cuts the fruit and carries to landlord. But he was happy. While giving the whole plantain, he was very happy. In this way, here the Champaran people, Champaran peasants fell into a trap in the sweet words of British people. They told you how to pay a compensation. Then thereafter, the whole land you can cultivate. Clear now? This is the way you see. Sharecroppers and many signed willingly. Those who resisted, some people did not agree. Those who resisted engaged lawyers. These are the lawyers who were in Musafirpur, isn't it? We have seen, we have seen the people who came to see Mahatma Gandhi at Musafirpur. So the people who did not agree to sign went to the court. They met lawyers. The landlords hired thugs, bullies. Thugs means bullies or gundas. So the peasants approached lawyers. Landlords approached gundas. Clear now? Underline. Meanwhile, the information about synthetic indigo reached the illiterate peasants who had signed, and they wanted their money back. You see, before the flash news come to the channels or to Champaran about the indigo, synthetic indigo, the landlords called their peasants and got the agreement signed. Later, what happened? Some of the peasants went to court. At that time, the peasants who had signed, they came to know it was a trap. It was a trap. These landlords called us secretly and made us to sign. At that time only, they came to know about the synthetic indigo. Then what happened? They demanded their money back. Let us suppose they have paid 1 lakh rupees. We take an amount, 1 lakh rupees. So these peasants told, we will give you 3/20th of indigo to you. We will cultivate and we will give us our money. We want to be in that agreement. Let us go back to the old agreement. We want our money. They wanted their money back. Underline. Illiterate peasants wanted their money back. That much only underline. Illiterate peasants wanted their money back. At this point arrived Gandhi in Champaran. You see, Gandhi landed Champaran at this juncture. This is the time. He began by trying to get the facts. He began to collect the facts about this agreement and cancellation, about the money and all these things. First, he visited the secretary of the British Landlords Association. So there were many British landlords and they had an association. They had an association. That association has a secretary. Gandhi went to that association and met the secretary and asked him, what are the things going on? What is the basis of this agreement? Why this agreement is cancelled? How much money is collected from the poor peasants? What is the norm of collection of this money? All these details he tried to collect. The secretary told him that they could give no information to an outsider. Underline the word outsider. The secretary, who was a white man, told Mr. Gandhi, we are not permitted to give any information of this office to an outsider. You are an outsider. You do not belong to Champaran. So we are not bound to give you the information which you ask. Gandhi answered him that he was not an outsider. Gandhi told, what did you say? I am an outsider. Mind your words. I am not an outsider. Who is the outsider really? British people. British people. So I am not an outsider. Next, Gandhi visited. Visit. We have seen. Next, Gandhi visited the British official commissioner of the Tirhat division. Commissionary. Tirhat division means commissionary. A cluster of many villages or cluster of 2-3 districts. That is what is called commissionary, a commission. For it has a commissioner. So collector, commissioner, division commissioner. He will be another IAS officer. Okay. So that is setup made there in areas. Village will have a gram sarpanch. Village. In tribal areas, we say Ur Mupan, isn't it? Mupan. And in this way, a village has a sarpanch, head of the village. Then sarpanch then goes to a panchayat. Then goes to the district. District will have a district magistrate. 2-3 districts together will have a cluster. It is known as a commissioner. Commissionary. Commissionary has a commissioner. Okay. It goes like that. It goes like that. Not here in Kerala, north UP, Bihar area. That's setup, social setup. It is like that. Okay. So he went to a division commissioner, who is a British man. Which division? Underline Tirhat division. Champaran village, Tirhat division. We have here our panchayat, then taluk. Taluk. Taluk will have a Tahsildar, isn't it? In this way, setup is there. In civics, politics and civics, you study these kind of things. Okay, so in which the Champaran district lay exists. The commissioner, Gandhi reports, proceeded to bully me and advised me forthwith to leave Tirhat. What did the commissioner do? Commissioner used, commissioner used bullies and asked me, Mr. Gandhi, at earliest, get out of this area. They warned me. They made me frightened to leave the village. Clear now? Proceeded to bully me, made me afraid, or threatened me, made me to bully, proceeded to bully, threatened. Threatened, threatened me and advised me forthwith to leave Tirhat division. Not only from Champaran, you have to go away from Tirhat. Go away from Tirhat. Gandhi did not leave. Gandhi did not leave. Gandhi was adamant. He was not ready to leave. Instead, he proceeded to Motihari, the capital of Champaran. Underline, Motihari was the capital of Champaran. Instead, he proceeded to Motihari, the capital of Champaran. Several lawyers accompanied him. Several lawyers accompanied him. At the railway station, a vast multitude greeted Gandhi. He went to a house and using it as headquarters. So at Motihari, underline Motihari, at Motihari, he rented a house. That house was made his head office, for all his future activities. Continued his investigations. Staying there, he continued to collect all the facts about this agreement and this problem. A report came in that a peasant had been maltreated in a nearby village. While he was there, a report came there. A peasant had been maltreated. A peasant had been maltreated in a nearby village. Gandhi decided to go and see. Gandhi decided to go and see the case directly. The next morning, he started out on the back of an elephant. So, ambassador car or different kinds of cars were not available. Either bullock carts or cycle rickshaw or these kind of animals. So he traveled on the back of an elephant to there. He had not proceeded far when the police superintendent's messenger overtook him and ordered him to return to town in his carriage. So he started from Motihari, his headquarters, on the back of an elephant. He proceeded a little far. By that time, people of superintendent of police, SP of the district, superintendents messenger had come and asked him to return, to return. You are not permitted to proceed. Gandhi complied. The messenger drove Gandhi. First, Gandhi did not agree. Gandhi proceeded. Then what happened? The messenger drove Gandhi home, where he served him with an official notice to quit Champaran immediately. The messenger took him to his house and gave him the notice. By this order, you are not permitted to stay in Champaran. Go back. Gandhi signed a receipt for the notice and wrote on it that he would disobey the order. Underline. Gandhi got the order in his hand. He signed. But above signature, he wrote. What did he write? He would disobey the order. I receive the order, but I will disobey. That means I will not leave Champaran. Whatever measure you can take, but I will not leave Champaran. In consequence, as a result, Gandhi received a summons. Gandhi received a summons. Summons means a letter of call. We have seen. Received a summons. Letter from the court is known as summon. Summon. Someone has come. That means court is calling you. A letter of call. Summon. Gandhi received a summons. You see, summons is not a plural. It is a singular word. Summons to appear in court the next day. Gandhi was given the letter from the court that he has to appear in the court next day. All night, tomorrow morning he has to go to court. All night, Gandhi remained awake. He could not sleep because in the court he has to produce or he has to argue. He is an advocate. Gandhi was an advocate. Gandhi was a lawyer. So he was preparing. He telegraphed Rajendra Prasad to come from Bihar with influential friends. So he will be taken to court. So he called Rajendra Prasad and told him to come to Tirhat division with some influential people. He sent instructions to ashram also. To his ashram, he informed, we do not know what will happen tomorrow. I am summoned to the court. Sometimes I may be put in jail. So he informed his ashram also. He wired means send a telegram. He sent a telegram of full report to the viceroy. So he sent a telegram. He sent a message to the viceroy, the British representative, Queen's representative to India. He is viceroy. That was given, a letter or a message was sent to the viceroy. Morning found the town of Motihari back with black peasants. So in the morning, Motihari was darkened with the peasants. Black with the peasants. What do you mean by black with the peasants? Thick crowds. When thick crowd is there, if you take an aerial shot, all the black head will be there. Isn't it? So that will show the thick crowd. Motihari was fully crowded with people because they knew Gandhi had come over there for the issue of their sharecrop. And Gandhi came over there to argue for them. Such a Gandhi was caught by the police. Such a Gandhi was taken by the police. Such a Gandhi was taken to the court. So the people of Champaran, people of Tirhat division realized the grave situation, and they all came for the help of Gandhi. They did not know Gandhi's record in South Africa. They were not knowing about Gandhi's record works in South Africa. How did he work for the freedom of black people, Indians in South Africa? They do not know. Still, they knew that Gandhi had come to Champaran for the help of the peasants. That they know. That is why they reached there. They had merely heard that a Mahatma who had wanted to help them was in trouble with the authorities. Underline. They heard only one thing. One Mahatma, a great man, Mahatma, man of great soul, an important man who wanted to help them. We were in trouble. People of Champaran thought we were in trouble. And a great man came from somewhere else to help us. Now he is in trouble. So it is our moral duty to go and help him. That is why these people came over there. They had merely heard that a Mahatma who wanted to help them was in trouble with the authorities. Their spontaneous demonstration, underline, spontaneous demonstration. Nobody called them. Nobody called them. Those who heard came there. Those who heard came there. Those who had shared the idea, they came voluntarily. So their spontaneous demonstration in thousands around the courthouse was the beginning of their liberation from fear of the British. You see, spontaneous coming of the people to courthouse. When they reached the courthouse, they realized it is a large crowd. We are powerful. I am not alone. We are thousands. They realized their, they realized their strength. They realized their unity. For the first time, they realized that we are powerful. We are powerful. So you see, they came in thousands around the courthouse was the beginning of their liberation, underline, beginning of their liberation from the fear of British. When they saw each other, when they saw themselves in crowds, when they saw themselves in thousands, they got an energy, they got a power, they got a strength. And they got the courage to react against the British. From their mind, the fear was going slowly out. The fear was slowly going out. They became brave enough to speak against British people. The officials felt powerless. The British officials could not do anything because they never expected such a kind of large crowd. The officials felt powerless. without Gandhi's cooperation. They needed Gandhi's help. Without Gandhi, they were unable to send the people back. The officials felt powerless without Gandhi's cooperation. Underline. He helped them. He helped them regulate the crowd. Gandhi told, okay, I will tell the people, I will help you, man. Why are you worried about these people? I never asked them to make such kind of crowd. I never asked them to make such kind of protests. Are you feeling troubled? Are you unable to stop these people? I will help you to stop these people. You see, he extended the support to the British people for controlling the crowd. You see, the officials felt powerless without Gandhi's cooperation. He helped them regulate the crowd. He was polite and friendly. He was not rude. He spoke to them politely and friendly. He was giving them concrete proof that their might, hitherto dreaded and unquestioned, could be challenged by Indians. You see, underline, very important sentence. He was giving them concrete proof. Them means British people. He was giving the British people a concrete proof, a solid proof, a solid proof. For what purpose? That their might, the power of British people, their might, the power of British people, hitherto, from today onwards, till today, hitherto, till today, dreaded, fearful, and unquestioned. See, till today, the British power was unquestioned. Nobody was permitted to question the British people. All the Indians were compelled to obey only. Obey only. So he was giving the British people a concrete proof, a solid proof that their power till today, which was dreaded, fearful, and unquestioned by anybody else, going to be challenged. Could be means going to be challenged by Indians. Indians are going to challenge your power. Indians are going to question your power. That means Indians in Champaran are going to begin their freedom struggle. The government was baffled. The government was in confusion. They were unable to do anything. They were confused. Baffled here means confused. The prosecutor requested the judge to postpone the trial. Who is the prosecutor? The one who argues in the court for the government, public prosecutor. Public prosecutor. The advocate of the government is called the prosecutor. So the advisor, the legal advisor, or the prosecutor requested the judge. Today it is very confusing, very puzzled. We will not be able, if we take any decision today, the crowd will be furious. Suppose if you issue an order against Gandhi, these thousands of people will react. They may destroy even the courthouse. So it is better to postpone so that these people will go away. So the prosecutor requested the judge to postpone the trial. Apparently, the authorities wished to consult their superiors. Clearly, the authorities, British authorities, wanted to discuss with the superiors what to do. Wanted to discuss with the superiors what to do. Because they were unable to take a decision. Gandhi protested against the delay. You see, Gandhi told, why you are postponing? No need of postponing. You can take the decision against me now. Don't make it delay. He demanded no delay. He protested against the delay. He read a statement pleading guilty. He wanted to hear a statement as he is guilty. He was involved, he told the court, in a conflict of duties on the one hand. So he told he was involved in a conflict of duties. Underline. He was in a trouble. He was in the middle of two duties. And he had to choose one. Clear now? Two people are asking you to do two things at a time. For example, mummy asks you to go to shop and bring some grocery. Papa asks you to sit and study there. Two things simultaneous. You are in the midst of conflict. Whom shall I obey? If I go to the grocery shop, then I am disobeying Papa. If I am sitting and studying, I am disobeying Mama. Conflict of duties. On the one hand, which is the conflict here? On the one hand, not to set a bad example as a lawbreaker. Underline number one. He does not want to become a lawbreaker. That's a bad example to others. If he breaks the law, people will say, Gandhi has broken the law, so I also will break the law. Clear now? He has broken the law, so we can also break the law. So it will be a bad example. It will be a bad example. So, you see, on the one hand, number one, not to set a bad example as a lawbreaker. Number one. Number two, on the other hand, second conflict, to render the humanitarian and national service for which he had come. At the same time, he has to give humanitarian concern. He had to serve the poor Indian people at Champaran. Why it is a conflict? If he wanted to help the poor people in Champaran, he has to break the law. Clear now? If he wanted to help the Champaran people, he has to break the law. If he want to obey the law, he will not be able to help the people. This is a conflict. Whether I should obey the British rules or I should help the poor peasants. So he has to make a choice. That is what is called conflict. So underline that. Conflict of duties. Last year you might have studied Nelson Mandela, twin obligations. Do you remember? Twin obligations. First obligation towards the family. Second obligation towards the society. If you wanted to choose the first obligation, then you can leave, you have to leave second obligation. You will not be able to fulfill second obligation. If you choose the second obligation towards the society, you will have to sacrifice the first obligation. Conflict of responsibilities, conflict of duties. Same thing here. Twin obligations. You can correlate it. Twin obligation. Now, in the coming day, we will see which obligation he has chosen, why. Okay. Thank you. I end the meeting. Okay.